I'm so glad you decided to come back and check out some more of my recipes and things that I'm doing with my new channel. And while you're at it, don't forget that I have a Patti Cake channel, and that's for beauty, like clothing, hair, makeup. And go on over there and check that out, and don't forget to subscribe. Okay, so guess what we're making today? Oh, what kind of move was that? Guess what we're making today? We are making dun dun dun, Korean barbecue. I'm using some beef ribs, and I have a special recipe with 3 secret ingredients that I'm going to be using for my Korean barbecue. So stay tuned and come on in with me and let's get cooking. Okay, so first what I'm going to do is show you the ingredients that you need to start off with, and we're going to start chopping up some vegetables. Okay, so first we're going to start off with a piece of onion, 2 cloves of garlic, some Lorry seasoned salt, some black pepper. You could use whatever kind of black pepper you want, and some ground cumin. But first we're going to just cut this onion up into pretty medium to large size pieces. You only need about this much, just about 1/4 of an onion. So I'm going to just cut this up into medium-sized pieces. Then we're going to chop up our garlic. Oh, and I forgot the main event, honey. I've got these beef chuck riblets from Walmart, and this is what we're going to be making our Korean barbecue with. Okay, so now we're just going to chop up the garlic. See, when you press the garlic, how easy it is for the whole little skin to just come off. And you just chop it in little pieces. Then you just take the garlic, put it in the pot, take the onion, put it in the pot. Actually, I could just pick the whole thing up and scrape it in. Then you wash the meat off really good, and you put it in a pot and put in this much water to cover it. You make sure the whole thing is covered. Now, some people wash their meat with white vinegar. So if that's what you do, go ahead and wash your meat with your white vinegar. So now I'm just going to add a little seasoned salt. I would say that's about 3/4 of a teaspoon. And I'm going to add some pepper. My hand is still in pain, so it's kind of hard to grind this. I went to the doctor, and she told me the name of what is wrong with my hand, and I didn't write it down, and I was waiting for her to come back into the room, and she never came back. So I'm trying to reach her to find out what the name of this situation is with my hand. So you put about 1/2 teaspoon of pepper, and then you just sprinkle a little bit of the cumin. I would say just a pinch of cumin. And as I always tell you, this cumin I got called Stone Mill Essentials is really strong. Okay, next you just put your pot over a medium flame and cover it. So I put my pot over a medium flame, and now I'm going to cover it. I put it over a medium flame, and now I'm going to cover it, and I'm just going to let it cook probably for about an hour. So I'll be right back with the recipe for the Korean barbecue sauce. Okay, hey, I'm back. Alright, so while the meat is tenderizing in that pot, you can start making the ingredients for the actual barbecue sauce. So let me tell you what you're gonna need for this Korean barbecue sauce. You're gonna need 1 cup of soy sauce. You're gonna need 3/4 of a cup of brown sugar. I'm just using light brown sugar. You're gonna need 2 cloves of minced garlic, 1 tablespoon of rice vinegar. Can you see it? 1 tablespoon of rice vinegar. A tablespoon of chili garlic sauce. That's some garlic that's going in there, huh? Hope you like garlic. You can use fresh ginger, or I'm going to use this ground ginger. And you just use 1 teaspoon of the ginger. You'll need 1 teaspoon of sesame oil. 1½ teaspoons of fresh ground pepper. Well, you could use any ground pepper. And you need 1 tablespoon of cornstarch. And you'll need 1 tablespoon of water. So we're going to start off. Let me just wash this scallion. Now for the scallions, you could use scallions, you could use onions, or you could use, what's the name of those little onions? Shallots. You could use shallots, regular onions, or scallions. Now I wash these off, and I wash my hands again. So everything is really clean. And I'm just going to chop these up, take the tips off, and discard those. And I'm just going to slice these into little pieces. I'm not even going to use the whole thing. I'm going to use this for the white wine mussels I'll be making. So this is really all you need. This amount right here. This is about 2 tablespoons. And I'm going to chop the garlic again. Try to get this garlic into as small minced pieces as possible. Sometimes I use my little tiny food chopper to chop up stuff like onions and garlic and celery. It gives it a finer chop, but today we're just going to do it by hand. Alright, now get a bowl about this size, and we're just going to scrape this into the bowl. And set that aside. Next, we're going to put in 1 cup of soy sauce. I might have a little too much because I only have a small amount of the ribs, but let's see how this works out. That's a lot of soy sauce though. Maybe I'm going to use, I think I'm going to use 3/4 of a cup. Then we're going to use 3/4 of a cup of the brown sugar. But because I'm making the recipe a little smaller, I'm going to use 1/2 cup of brown sugar. Then I'm just going to add to it. You can use light brown sugar or you can use dark brown sugar. I'm using light brown sugar today. Then I'm going to use a half a tablespoon of the rice vinegar. Then I'm going to put 3/4 of a tablespoon of the chili garlic sauce. Then I'm going to sprinkle just about a half a teaspoon of the ground ginger. Be careful with that as well because that has a very strong taste. Also, I'm going to use this sesame oil. And I'm going to use about a half a teaspoon of sesame oil. You have to be careful with that as well because that also has a strong taste. That's about a half a teaspoon. Then you use about 3/4 of a teaspoon of ground black pepper. You can measure this if you like. Just measure it if it's your first time making it or if you're not really, if you haven't been cooking that much in your life. Then you just stir this together. You should smell the aroma from this. I feel like I'm over in the Middle East or something. Not the Middle East. I feel like I'm over in Asia somewhere. Just from the smell. The aroma, it just permeates through the air. And it smells so good. Now I just put it in a saucepan like this. And I'm just going to let it come to a boil. And then we'll add our cornstarch. So now we are letting this come to a boil. And while we're doing that, we're going to whisk together our cornstarch that has to be added to it. See, it's starting to boil already. See that bubble? And you just should smell it. I wish we had something where we could let you smell it. Okay, so now we're just going to take the same measuring cup I used for the brown sugar and I'm going to put a tablespoon of water. And I'm going to dry off that tablespoon. And then I'm going to put a tablespoon of the Argo cornstarch. Now I'm going to get my small whisk and we're going to whisk this together. So now we're going to whisk this together until all of the cornstarch dissolves. I think it dissolved already. Now we're just going to take that cornstarch mixture and we're going to put it into the pot to thicken it. And you whisk it into that. Then you just let it simmer until it thickens. And you could stir it periodically to make sure it's all blended in really good. See how it's starting to get thick? Just how you want it. Just like regular barbecue sauce. So I'm going to just stir it and I'm going to let it simmer and thicken a little bit more. Wow, it is getting thick now and it is smelling on my whole house. I smell like I'm having a vacation. That's what it smells like, a vacation. Okay, so this is how the sauce should be looking by now. I let it simmer for about 3 to 5 minutes. And see how nice and thick it is? And you can see all the garlic in there. Just make sure you blend it all together really well. And I'm going to turn the fire off on that. And here are our ribs. They are tender, juicy, and ready. You just stick a fork in there and you can see how tender they are. Now I'm going to slice them up in 2 pieces. Now I just put them on my cutting board and they're so tender I think I lost a couple of bones along the way. And now while I'm cooking, I constantly wash my hands to make sure nothing is transferred to anything else. And I have this little, I don't know what you call it, a butcher knife. It doesn't look like the butcher knives from when I was growing up. And I'm just going to cut it into pieces so I can put it in the pan. See, that one little pack only made 6 pieces. I'm probably going to have extra sauce left and I could just freeze it or jar it for next time. Now I'm just going to put it into a pan, and I always use an aluminum pan when I'm doing barbecue, so it'll be an easy cleanup. You don't have to scrub the pan, you just throw it out. So we're going to just line these in the pan. I'm trying to put the most meaty side up, so that it could catch all of that delicious barbecue sauce. Now I'm going to just spoon the barbecue sauce over the meat, and then I'm going to put it in a preheated oven at 350, and I'm going to let it cook for about 12 minutes so that the flavor could get permeated into the meat. I can't wait. It's going to be delicious. Look at this. It looks almost like molasses. Okay, here it goes. I don't think it's going to be any left over. Maybe this recipe is for small families. I have a big family, so I'm used to cooking much more. But now I have vegans in the house, so I buy less meat. Yep, I'm going to end up using all of it because I'm going to put some on the bottom of the pan so that the bottom could have some as well. For instance, I'll put some right here and I'll rub this around in it. And I'll put some right here and rub the bottom of these through it. Don't waste it. Make sure you get all of it out the pan. Okay. Now this could be used for pork ribs as well as beef ribs. But I don't eat pork. But it's the same recipe for either one. Okay, so I'm going to put a piece of foil over it for the first 5 minutes, and then I'm going to take the foil off so the sauce can get a little, what's the word for it? Anyway, so the sauce could get real nice and good. While this is in the oven, I'm just going to whip up some whipped potatoes, mashed potatoes, and a little pot of cabbage, and then we're gonna have the final results. And this is how it came out. Doesn't it just look yummy? Let me put some light on it. Doesn't that look yummy? Okay, so I'm gonna make a plate and I'm gonna let you know how it's tasting. My, that sure is looking yummy, y'all. I'm gonna make myself a plate and we're gonna see how this tastes. Here it is, here it is. And I paired it up with some mashed potatoes and some sauteed cabbage. And we're going to check it out right now. I hope it's not too hot. Alright, first let's taste the ribs. Oh, excuse my looks. I hurt my hand, and the doctor said it's going to heal by itself. But in the meantime, I have to be in pain. So it's kind of hard for me to do my hair and everything. I didn't bother to put on my contacts either. But let's get to this food. Alright, we're going to taste the ribs first. See how juicy they look. Oh man, I don't have my regular lights, but let's turn this around. Oops, 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 oops. Oh, maybe if I do this. Let's taste it. Oh my God. I don't think I ever really thought about how good this is. Look at the stuff on my fingers. That is so good. So you have to try this recipe. I want you to comment down below and tell me if you're going to try this recipe. Like I said, you could put it on beef ribs. You could put it on pork ribs, duck ribs. It's really, really good. When my son used to eat meat, he loved the Korean and the Chinese barbecue. And he's coming in there, oh my God, that smells so good. It smells like we're in Korea. I'm going to taste it with a little bit of these potatoes. Let me get a bite with these potatoes. Wow. Tastes extra special with the potatoes. Some of my sauteed cabbage. Only thing about the cabbage is I like a little butter in my cabbage, but I didn't put any because I love my children and they're little vegans. Big vegans, big children. It's finger looking good. Know what I think I'm going to do? I think I'm going to get a little glass of wine. I don't drink wine every day. But for this recipe here, it deserves a glass of wine. You know what? I'm going to hell. I forgot to say my blessing. I'm going to say it right now. Bless the cook. Bless the provider. And thank you so much, universe, for providing me with this food. Amen. I'll see you all next time. And don't forget to try this Korean barbecue recipe because it is slamming. It's slamming. It's slamming. It's slamming. Oh, and if you like this video, give it a double thumbs up. And I'm going to go get my glass of wine, y'all. Mwah! And don't forget to subscribe. And over to my other channel at PattiCake. Love you all. Thanks for watching.